truly Kenyans, what are we coming to when we disregard the health of one another? I think this is just an epitome of man's inhumanity to man, knowing that we have the adverse effect of mercury and all these components in our body when we're truly fighting hard in this country also to fight, some of these diseases like cancer in the country. Allow me to just also get the views of our panelists here this morning in regard to this particular story, because this is the biggest scandal, I think, of all, despite that we are fighting corruption in this country. Still, this is an element of corruption as well, where we have systems which have gaping holes, where people are actually gaming the system to make sure that we have these illegal products in our market. This morning we have with us Engineer Charles Kalomba, who's Secretary General, the Kenya National Federation of Jua Kali Associations. And also we do have with us George Washiuri, he's a Chief Executive Officer of Optivan Real Estate. And also we have with us Moses Lesonet, who is a Member of Parliament from Elder Maravin, and also is the Vice Chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee in the National Assembly. Remember, today we shall be discussing what is happening in, of course, the day that will be the budget estimates that will be read out by the Cabinet Secretary of Treasury or Ministry of Finance, that is Henry Rotich. But in light of this particular story, they're Kenyans, they take sugar, and of course also this is alarming to them when they hear that we have illegal sugar that is in the market right now, and they're laced with mercury, laced with copper components as well. Let's just begin with you, Charles, right? Hearing what is happening right now and the extent that we can go as Kenyans in disregard to your health, health of your children, infants maybe who are also taking, or they're winning the food this morning, and they have elements of copper, elements of mercury, pregnant women who are expecting. Let's just talk about it, the extent of it, because this is I think, really depressing when you wake up to such as news every day.
Yeah, thank you, Debarl. From where I sit, this is a sad story. It's a sad story in the sense that we have a country to live in. We don't have another country. This is the only country. And when people take advantage of such a country like this one, yes, who are very innocent, and of course, then we suffer most. So to me, I know very well this has been going on for some time. You are aware that
it's been going on for some time.
For some time, yes. And the war has been under the bridge, but now the war has now come up. So what we need to do is to intensify. It's not just about Kenya Bureau alone. I sit in many technical committees within Kenya Bureau, and I know very well they struggle to understand what they should do. But given that they have the conformity assessment, in Kenya, we don't have people who are strict on that to check where is this commodity coming from, who is manufacturing this commodity, how is it being manufactured, because sugar production is essentially a chemical process and organic process. So what we need to do as a country is we need to bring all the agencies. We have the anti-counterfeit agency, we have the Kenya Bureau, we have the Poisons Board, we have everybody with facilitation. And they have money. Even in Kenya Bureau, they have money. But people have relaxed on job. They don't want to do what is supposed to be done.
Is it laxity or is it a matter of corruption?
It's laxity, and of course, many Kenyans, they don't care the life of other Kenyans. They care how much they are going to make in a process. So even if they are going to sell cow dung to you as food, they don't care. You buy it, they get money. So what we need to do is a culture change. We shift our culture so that we look at how are other people globally behaving. You can't take a commodity like that one to Japan. You can't take forget about Japan, even Korea only. You can't enter Korea with such a commodity. So what we are saying is that Kenya has become a dumping ground for anything that you can bring across the borders. So we need to emphasize our fight and say, who is the agency in this country to help us to deliver ourselves from this? They are the transporters. They are the manufacturers in Kenya who have the know-how. They are the scientists in this country. We have the institutions that we have given power to do certain processes, but they are not doing it. So we need to take people to book. Anybody who has been found doing such a thing should be taken to book. Let the Kenyans know that somebody is in jail because he sold poison to Kenyans in the name of sugar. If we don't do that, then we are dying slowly. And as you have talked, then we are not going to have a seed. A generation is dying off because pregnant mothers are taking heavy metals. These are all heavy metals. And when they enter their bodies, they change the systems in the body. And any child who is being born from that system is not normal. So in a few years, Kenyans will not be normal. Call it 20, 30 years. We shall not have a normal Kenyan in this country. So we need to really emphasize our fight. And of course, I'm happy the president is really taking the fight head on. And he needs to be supported. I was even yesterday in a meeting and people were asking, the handshake worked and the president shook hand with somebody. We need to have a voice from the other side. Let the voice come and we meet in the middle so that there's this version talking, this version talking, and everybody must be, and I'm happy even the member of parliament is here. And of course the parliament, again, they need to intensify their fight because the parliament has never been fighting. Parliament has been fighting to get how much money in this country, in which budget. That should not be the war. Go to any parliament in the world. You will find the argument is different from our argument in the parliament here. The argument is different because the economy must be supported from what? From policies. How do we formulate policies that can move this economy forward? Why should we be killing Zoya sugar, killing Mumias sugar, killing this other one in Sony, and Moroni and Miwani? Then we are importing sugar from other markets. Why? When the farmer is looking for money and is not getting money, they are not being paid. Then people have been allowed to import sugar. We better even take strong tea without sugar, but we build our own sugar industry. Yes. Today, Kenya is, we have discovered oil in Turkana, and we are talking about energy. And then we are exporting the same crude oil to other markets to import finished goods. When we have a refinery that we can pump money into it and revive the refinery.
These are some of the questions that we need to also ask this morning. Why do we export crude oil, then we buy it as refined again at an exorbitant price?
Correct.
We have our own refinery here. Or is it a matter of capacity? Yeah, these are some of the things that we'll be discussing, especially looking forward to also the budget estimates as well. But let's hear also from George this morning. You as a father, and of course hearing this, and you've read about this is a story that we've heard since Monday. What is your assessment about the conscience of Kenya as a country, that we don't really care about one another? As long as I just make my kick out of maybe a corrupt deal, it doesn't matter how your health will go down. It doesn't matter even, yes, you're expecting a child that will be also taking all the heavy metals. And he, as he says, maybe given a trajectory of 30, 40 years from now, or even 20, for that matter, we'll be having, other able children because of our own seared conscience that we don't even care about the safety of the public.
Wow, my name is George Washuri, and as a Kenyan, it's a bit worrying to see how the level of greed has really hit this nation. I'm also happy to see the government and the private sector, where I belong, Kenya Private Sector Alliance, mentioning and fighting this counterfeit. Because, as the minister said, this is actually mass murder, and we need to bring these traders into book to pay for it, because this sugar, even their own children, they can consume the same sugar, the same chemicals. And as Kenyan people, we need to care of each other, because the direction we are facing is not good. And I'm happy to see that after the political stability, now the government has got some senses now to check the real issues affecting Kenyan people. Because when we had political noise, this is the time these thieves and thugs who want to kill us got a chance to bring these counterfeit goods. And it's across the industry. And I'm happy to see the government fighting this counterfeit, because that's the only way we can talk of job creation.
Yes.
It's the only way we can talk about building our nation and not adding taxes. And we also request the agencies in charge of controls. They are actually sleeping on the job. And somebody needs to be accountable, because before goods goes to Isli or other counties, they pass through these agencies. So somebody should be responsible for allowing such kind of things to happen, because we are paying them with our own taxes. Every month they're getting salaries to make sure that the goods we are consuming as Kenyan people, they are checked. So somebody needs to answer these questions. And as my guest says here, engineer, we also need to see Parliament fight this evil. Counterfeit, contrabands, corruption. They're just silent. I'm happy that one of them is here. We in business community, as Kenya Private Sector Alliance, we've been meeting the president at the PRT, Presidential Roundtable.
Yes.
And we are telling the president, we support you. Fight this fight until the time we win. If Rwanda won, we can win. Why can't we have special courts to try these people? Because our courts are already overburdened.
Yes.
And once we fight these evils,
yes,
I can tell you, Kenya is going to be a beautiful country.
So the most concerning thing is the fact that we know, as we can see, and we've read reports as well, that there are actually people who are in the upper reaches of government, very influential, who are perpetrating this evil, right? So it's not an issue of laxity or maybe people are not sleeping on the job. It's the people who are actually deliberately doing this in cahoots with people who are in government. It's a high time that we know the faces of these people who they don't really care, and yet these are the leaders that we do elect, but they don't really care about our lives at all. It's high time that maybe we mention these names and we want to see who are the faces behind these particular cartels. And if we know them, we bring them to book as well. But isn't it consternating still that such a person who has, you know, that particular office with that gravitas can actually go to this full extent, just blindly also looking on the other side?
I think the good news is that the head of state is on it. You know, it has started from the top. Before, people are not very sure. So, and I'm sure that going forward, we'll see big names coming up to be ashamed because we need to ashame them.
All right. So we have the anti-counterfeit agency in this country still, the Poisoners Board as well, still in this country. But this has been ongoing. We have fake stamps from Kenya Bureau of Standard as well. We don't know if it's emanating from them or in cahoots with people from the Kenya Bureau of Standard as well. So are these institutions working seamlessly?
No, but
can we hear from Mheshimiwa Lesonet before we come to you?
Yes, thank you very much for those comments. And I'm happy also to have heard from the representative from Kenya Private Sector Alliance and Charles. The players in this sector, of course, includes your members from Kenya Private Sector Alliance, but we are not here, of course, to apportion blame. Personally, I think I like what the minister has done, that is taking the lead in pursuing those who may have imported those contraband goods. Mm-hmm. But of course, to come to your question,
yes,
there are institutions which must take responsibility on this particular matter. Like you mentioned, there's Kenya Bureau of Standards, there's the anti-counterfeit agency, and of course the Poisons Board. There are people who are at KPA when these goods were coming in, whether they came in through the port of Mombasa or whether they came in through the Boras border with Somalia. At least there are people who are at those particular junctions. And people from those agencies must be able to take responsibility for allowing such goods to come into this our nation. Mm-hmm. Of course, in all these things, there's a silver lining. You can imagine that this is the news we are seeing now. Maybe it was happening last year. Maybe it was happening the other year. Maybe it has been happening all these years. No wonder there is cancer is almost becoming an epidemic in Kenya. Mm-hmm. Is it because of what we consumed? Is it because somebody allowed fake goods to come into Kenya? Is it because somebody allowed Kenya to be a dumping ground? When we come back to Parliament, I just want to give you assurance that the National Assembly and the Senate, to that extent, they have made sure they created the anti-counterfeit agency. It's created at an act of Parliament. Mm-hmm. We delivered on our role to create that particular organ.
Yes.
Kenya Bureau of Standards, we are here to discuss budget. We've made sure that resources are never limited for them to deliver on their mandate. So Parliament has definitely done its role, and it now remains to other organs of government to really do the implementation bit. Parliament is not per se a primary investigatory agency. We may be there at this moment to lament the way we Kenyans are all lamenting because of the non-performance of agencies which have been charged with that particular duty. But like I said, we are happy that there's somebody taking action. This fight, this big fight on corruption, which the president is taking lead, of course, is the reason why you are seeing such results. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure going forward, we are yet to see shocking news on what else may have been coming into Kenya.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's say from Charles Kalombo, you had to say something.
I just wanted to mention, Debarl, that as I sit in Kenya Bureau of Standards, these are not the only counterfeit products coming into the market. in every technical committee that I sit, I've been worrying, because this is over time, I've been worrying why this is happening, and we have guys in this country who can look at this very well. And I approached the anti-counterfeit agency, and we sat down, and what is lacking is there is no single synergy where anti-counterfeit agency will tell you we are working with KEPS on vigilance. And I brought up an agenda that KEPS needs to partner with the Juakali, where I'm coming from. And these guys are masses. These are 14 million guys. And come up with an understanding whereby these guys become the vigilance. They look out there. Whoever is selling and counterfeit, they can be able to report. Why are you putting up a store that we don't know what we are selling? Why are you transporting what we don't know? So that we need to look at this on traceability. We look back and say, this is sugar. It is in your store. Where did you get it from? Show us the other store where you got it from. Then from there, we go back up to the farm where it was manufactured and how it was manufactured. That way, then we shall get a lot of culprits brought together and be charged in special courts, the way my colleague is saying, in special courts. Because you see, in Kenya, courts, again, they are another ground where you take somebody to court and the magistrate pretends he's very busy. And the case takes about 3 years. You have all forgotten. Some have died. And when the magistrate is given what he wants to be given, that's the end of the case. So I think we need special courts where we can, and timelines. You say this case has come today. If you don't conclude it, because that's the role of the parliament, if you don't conclude that by 2 months, then you are not effective. Step aside. I think we can sack everybody in this country and have new guys on board to come and help us. Because you see, the judges and the magistrate, they get laxity. They drag the cases because they have an intention. Somebody wants to approach them. Listen, I sold poison, yes, but I want you to deliver me from this trap. And he comes with an envelope and he says, oh, please help me. And the guy will drag the case and push extension 4 months, 1 year, and the case is over. So I think we need to look at special cases, just like Uganda they have done on martial courts. If you are with a gun in Kenya, you are taken to the ordinary court. Go with a gun in Uganda and see. You'll go to the martial court, and these guys will hang you. So nobody needs a gun, and that's why the watchmen have guns in Uganda, and they are not misusing them. In Kenya, nobody has a gun, and there's a lot of misuse of guns. So we need to look at the parliament of Kenya. That's where the disease is. And Mheshimiwa, you are here. What we need to do is, you guys, as you set up the policy of this land, you need to have a certain focus, not just on finance, where is the money going? Because that's the agenda of the parliament today. How much is allocated here, how much is allocated here, and where is the money going to be used? Then you see, even from the newspaper, we have a lot of guys from the parliament who are participating in this poison selling. So we need to bring them out and announce them on the media and say, so-and-so, honorable from this member of parliament from this area has participated in selling poison. That way, then, I think we shall shame the devil and we shall get clean things in this country.
Yes.
Otherwise, without that, Debarl, we are done.
Right.
We are dying soon.
I think the debate also has been that, yes, we need to come up with a name and shame bill.
Yes.
Yes, these people who, because they can go to any extent to actually try and, feather their own nest at the expense of Kenyans, even at the risk of the health of Kenyans as well. Is it a high time, maybe, Mheshimiwa Lesson, that you should tell us? And I've been asking some of the legislators who come to this show as well, why can't we come up with a bill, a name and shame bill? Yes, that everyone, if you're really embroiled in making, perpetuating corruption in this country, yes, we have your face, you are actually taken to Uhuru Park or whichever stadium, you are actually paraded there, Kenyans know you, we splash you on our papers, we even make a monument actually for you, right? A monument of shame,
yes,
that even the generations to come, they will know that the family of so-and-so was embroiled in corruption in this country, and they're not allowed to occupy any office. Maybe that can be a wake-up call for many legislators and the people who are embroiled in corruption in this country, that it is not just affecting them, but even the generations to come. They will be also listed on this name and shame bill.
Yeah, maybe in terms of legislation available to deal with corruption in Kenya, I mean, there are many. We've created the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
But we've just seen the DPP expressing frustrations from Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
We've given independence to the DPP. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation is there. All these are agencies which are not limited in any way to deal with this matter of corruption. Like you said, I also agree with you that in terms of shame and, to take guys to Europa can showcase guys who have stolen, I'm sure that is the next level we should go. We've not been there before. It is possible, yes, to make such legislation, and we can be able to take the lead in coming up with such a law to enable guys to be paraded, those who have stolen from us. But I tell you, we are winning the war on corruption. Wow. When the president is taking the lead, you've seen procurement guys, that is one way of, I mean, the guys who will not go back to procurement after 1 month definitely will be like they have been paraded. Okay, that is one way. I mean, they're all over in your newspapers, that thousands of guys, you don't know what level it will go to.
Yes.
Maybe it's coming to our homes for you to account for your wealth, to tell us how did you get that car? How come your salary is not aligned to your wealth? I'm sure it is getting into that level. People must be able to account for what they have. And I know, even the president, maybe, if he continues in this manner for another 1 month, if he just announces to guys that, guys, I'm giving you 1 week to return what you took, I tell you, you will see so many Kenyans who have stolen from us. I agree, there is serious theft, not only at national government, all the way to counties. There are very, very tiny guys who didn't have anything 5 years ago. They are now billionaires at county levels. Okay?
Yes.
They are driving big machines. They own serious homes of billions of shillings and millions of, okay? They travel all over the world on leisure. So I want to tell you that whenever we've seen confidence in the president from the top taking the lead in this fight, it shall be won.
It shall be won.
It shall be won. It's a clear message to all Kenyans that you cannot steal now and hide anywhere. Yes, so
right.
And I think that message is very, very important, and let's continue supporting the president.
Right. George.
Yeah.
I also support the Mheshimiwa about the support of this fight from the top. What we require is people who are accountable and who are serious in the fight, because Parliament has made quite a number of laws and regulations. And what we want as Kenyan people, you find that some individuals, say for example, Honorable Matiang'i, wherever he goes, you see action. Yet, there are other CSs and ministers in these particular functions, but they are doing nothing.
Yes.
This issue of counterfeit maybe started 5 years ago, but we have CSs and people responsible in those particular departments, but no action. So we need many Matiang'is in our system so that we are able to fight this theft. And by the way, we need to stop using the word corruption. That's a beautiful word.
Yes.
You know, graft is a beautiful word. Let's call it as it is. Layman's language, it is theft.
Yes.
These are thieves. The same thief who steal my mother's chicken is the same thief who is stealing our taxes. And that's why as Kenyan people, we are not happy when we see this preemptive tax for small business people.
Yes.
We see 35% taxation. We see more VAT on bread. It is not acceptable, because this money we are contributing, and a single fellow is picking these billions and buying all kinds of lifestyle. We have seen people on Facebook pasting their houses, and they're working for government.
Yes.
They are big V8, they are big cars. This is our money. And as Kenyan people, we need also to be fed. This is a cow that we have been milking, the government has been milking. Now the cow is thin. So that's why we are saying that when you see these figures flashing on the budget, as a Kenyan person, we are not happy. As business people, as SMEs, we are not happy about it. We cannot talk about job creation, and then we are still milking this cow that is sickly. So let's address these issues. So whoever is responsible, be it these agencies, be it the ministers, be it us in private sector, let's take charge of our nation. And it is easy to report this theft. Why can't we have an online app to say, George of Optiven, I saw him doing this. We report to relevant authorities. We are able to capture these small thieves and big thieves.
Yeah, but of course we had that particular website open, I think even by the president, that you have any person, if you see any person embroiled in corruption, this is a website that you can actually log in and also drop their names and whichever company they're really coming from. So when it comes to, I think we've done everything that we know that there is for us to combat corruption in this country, but it seems it is not working. It is truly not working, and all these culprits are functioning are the dysfunctions of these particular institutions in this country.
I'm thinking, Debarl, this brings me to my thinking, that as a country we need to persuade the parliament to come up with a category of crime. So that we say crime A, if you are found on this level of crime A, this is the court. If of crime B, this is the court. And then the court is given timelines. This crime should not go beyond 1 year. This crime should not go beyond 6 months. So if the magistrate or the judge does not comply with that he sacks himself. That way, then you will see everybody worried in this country. Then number two is we need to also ask institutions like Poisons Board and Bureau of Standard and the Counterfeit Agency. How are you working? Give us a report. Because if these guys are not relating, then it means they are governments on their own. Because they have laboratories to test these things. They can look at the conformity system, because like Kenya has signed protocols with all the countries in the world.
Yes, yes.
Then we have Kenyans in those countries helping us to check the goods that are coming from those countries in terms of conformity. But you try to take things in Japan from Kenya, they will never allow you. They have to check it thoroughly before it lands in the market. In Kenya, you bring anything across the border, guys will clear you and you come in and you begin to sell. So that's the mismatch. And then the public innocence and the public little know-how in Kenya, because in Kenya, people don't want to struggle knowing a lot. People have taken advantage. So the president has taken the lead, but the president will be tired soon. He'll be tired. Who is supposed to fuel the fire? Fueling the fire is the Kenyans and the institutions. But the president must take a few guys in the institution into book, take them to prison, and declare this one is a thief, this one. The president must take the lead in speaking every morning and every evening. Let him stop everything else. Corruption, and you have said it's called theft, must stop in this country immediately. Otherwise, Kenya is going down. Yeah.
Right.
I want to agree with them on giving timelines for cases to be resolved. An example which I'm sure you're all aware of is election petitions, that they must be disposed of within 6 months.
Yes.
And the courts were very good in that. They did the high courts, they disposed them of in 6 months, Court of Appeal within 6 months. So I agree with you that it is possible for Parliament to create those timelines, that these matters must be disposed of within this particular time. So it's possible. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And of course, also